And we are recording with Miss Claire Lopez on Thursday, October 12th, 2023 at 2:05 p.m. Eastern time. And I have Miss Lopez for a limited amount of time today. But for everyone that's been asking, no, everything is fine with me and Claire, as well as the other guests I've been having on. I was very open about it. Was doing way too many episodes for too long. Was redlining it and was having an effect on my mental health. So I slowed it down to one episode a day. And I told Claire that a month ago, told all the guests that a month ago. So yes, Miss Lopez is back, and I'm thrilled to have her. As we were just talking about, I clearly need her guidance because I know how to work a camera and a microphone, and that is about it. But Miss Lopez, not that I don't want to catch up and hear everything about everything, but I know I have you for a limited amount of time. So, guys, please go in the description. Please go follow her Twitter. Please go follow her writing. For me, could you briefly explain what happened and what the implication? I know bits and pieces of it, and I've just
Yeah.
all week I've put it off because I have the luxury of being friends with you. And I was like, I'll just ask Claire on Thursday. So your
Okay.
show, Miss Lopez.
Okay, great. Thanks to you, Tommy, and it's great to be back
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
show with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Although the circumstances of this week are not exactly happiest ones. So let's begin with Hamas itself. The word Hamas is actually an acronym from the Arabic Harakat Muqawama Islamiyah. And what that means is Islamic Resistance Movement. So Hamas, again, is an acronym, and it means in Arabic the Islamic Resistance Movement. Notice there's no mention of Palestinians or anything like that. It's Islamic, right? So Hamas is the Gaza branch of the Egyptian Jihadist Muslim Brotherhood. And its, I guess you would say, its predecessor uh, began to be formed in the 1970s by Sheikh Yassin. And at the time, we'll recall that Yasser Arafat's PLO, Palestinian Islamic Palestinian Liberation
Liberation.
Organization, was wreaking havoc, uh, attacks, kidnappings, and so forth. And the Israeli government at the time actually thought that Sheikh Yassin and his predecessor to Hamas group could be a counterweight to Yasser Arafat and the PLO. Yeah, they actually thought that. And they helped it to get started in the 70s and 80s. Now, what happened in the 80s, of course, fast forward to 1987, and even before that, 87 was the breakout of the first Intifada. 1988, the year after that, is the year that Hamas itself was formally established. That's the year that it published its Hamas covenant. Why covenant? You'll hear it sometimes referred to as a charter, but the word actually is covenant, and that's because that agreement, that document, which can be found in English PDF form online, is between Hamas and God. It's not man to man. It is between Hamas and God, which is why it's called a covenant. And the pledge in it, we can find in the opening lines, which says, and I'm paraphrasing just a little bit here, but it says, Israel exists and shall exist until the forces of Islam will annihilate it, will obliterate it. That is in the opening lines of the Hamas covenant, which was first published in 1988, along with its formal establishment. Well, by the time of that Intifada, the first one, Israel had finally glommed on that neither Sheikh Yassin nor Hamas was a reliable partner for anything, much less as a counterweight to Yasser Arafat. Sheikh Yassin had been jailed even earlier in the 1980s, released though after just a year. Then we come to the Oslo Accords of 1993, And once again, in my opinion anyway, and others now looking back, that agreement legitimized Yasser Arafat and the PLO. And it paved the way for much worse Islamic terror to come. And if we fast forward once again, we'll come to the second intifada of the year 2000, went on for 2, 3, 4 years. Horrible death toll, injured among Israelis. But here again, Hamas was an integral part of that intifada, the second one. And Yasser Arafat's PLO offshoots, different groups, the Al-Aqsa Brigade, Tanzim, and so forth. As for Sheikh Yassin, the Israelis dispatched him in the year 2004, if I remember correctly. And so he was no longer around, but Hamas certainly was. Hamas basically took over the Gaza Strip. We know that between Israel's War of Independence in 1948 and the 1967 war, Gaza was under Egyptian control, but they didn't try to make it into a state or anything of the sort. They simply managed it, I guess. And then, of course, in the 67 war, Israel captured Gaza, captured both Samaria and Judea, and of course, unified their eternal and undivided capital of Jerusalem, also took control of parts of the heights of the Golan Heights overlooking the Galilee, the farmland below of Israel. So we have that sequence, that time sequence, if you will. And Hamas, of course, totally a jihad organization. And now let's just fast forward once again to the present time. And just almost a week ago on the morning in Israel, the morning of Saturday, October 7, we're in 2023, Hamas launched this horrific Islamic terror jihad attack against something like 22 Israeli towns, villages, kibbutzim that sort of surround or they are located close to Gaza in southern Israel. And they hit a couple of Israeli military positions and police stations too. But the majority of the sites that were attacked were purely civilian. And the toll from that now has surpassed, what have I just seen? Over 1,300 Israeli dead so far. The numbers of injured beyond counting, certainly well over 2,000. Among those, though, there are at least 25 is the latest number I've seen, 25 Americans among the dead, and at least 17 whose whereabouts are not known. They're missing. We know that Hamas, in addition to slaughtering men, women, children, babies, took many hostages, 100, 150, and dragged them back into Gaza to use as human shields, because they probably realized that the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, would eventually come back into Gaza. And as we know now from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his top IDF leadership, and by the way, Benjamin Netanyahu has just confirmed a unity emergency government. Benny Gantz of the opposition political party, but has joined in a unity emergency government for the duration of the war. As I understand it, the invitation has also gone out to opposition party leader Yair Lapid, but I don't think he's accepted yet. Don't know if he will, we can see. But in any case, the determination of the top leadership now of Israel to absolutely destroy Hamas. It cannot exist anymore. It cannot be allowed to ever again pose this kind of a threat to the Israeli people. And also, by the way, its co-jihadist organization, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, PIJ, or PIJ for short, we sometimes say. But both of them, Hamas and PIJ, backed, supported, armed, trained, funded by the Islamic Republic of Iran. And indeed, with this horrific attack, likewise, Iran and also Hezbollah were deeply involved in the planning and the logistics of how it would be carried out. We could talk about that planning scenario, but that took many months to set this up and plan this and execute it. Finally, this past Saturday, as we speak now, Tommy, the IDF has called up the largest number of reservists in the history of the modern day state of Israel, and something like 350,000, I've heard, are now gathering around the border of Gaza, and a ground invasion is anticipated soon. I think in the time before that ground invasion is launched, though, I think what is going on is a very serious effort to locate, find, and rescue hostages, Americans as well as Israelis and other nationalities, and also perhaps the recovery of bodies to be repatriated to their home countries. So that's where we are at the moment. There are a lot more details we can get into, but that seems to be the situation at the moment.
Yeah, that's I know that's Siret. The only reason I know
Sayeret
that
Metkal.
is because that was one of the first ever episodes I did was with a guy in Siret. I never knew his name because he couldn't tell me. But I've been trying to find him. The only contact I ever had with him was through a Reddit account. And I've been banned from Reddit for years, but I went back the other day to try to find it, and it'd been deleted. So I can only imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a given that because Americans are among both the dead and the hostages, that American special forces, maybe Delta, maybe SEALs,
I think I saw the other day
already
Dev Crew was
are
going. Yeah.
inside Gaza on the ground, probably working very closely with their Israeli counterparts, as you said, Sayeret Metkal, and also, specialized brigades like the Golani Brigade and so forth, with which they train all the time.
Yeah.
So I think it's to be expected. There's not going to be an announcement of that, but
No.
we
No.
would expect that that's what's going on right now, and perhaps why there is something of a delay before the ground invasion begins.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's in Mark Bowden's Black Hawk Down in the actual book when he's talking about Delta Force. He's like, yeah, you see these jacked guys, tans, and you ask them what do they do, and they're like, oh, I work with phones. They're like, where are you going next? And it's like, yeah, we're going to South America to install phones. And it's like, huh, isn't that where some cartel leader just disappeared? It's like no comment. Yeah, no, I mean, excuse my French, but I mean, you done fucked up if Delta's coming. That's, I mean, God.
Well, I mean,
But
if anybody can find and rescue
it's
these
them.
hostages, it is the combination of the U.S. and the Israeli special forces. Maybe other special forces of
Sure.
other countries too. I don't know,
Sure.
but certainly the Americans and the Israelis.
And I don't. And then also, I want to comment. The newest U.S. aircraft carrier, the Gerald Ford, that's
Well,
been directed there, correct?
actually, two apparently
Two strike
carrier
groups.
strike force um,
I think it's called
groups
strike. I think it's strike group or
have
strike fleet.
been, sent to the Eastern Mediterranean. The other one is the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower with its accompanying naval vessels. The two of them sent to the Eastern Mediterranean, closer to Israel. Not completely sure what their mission is, whether to deter anybody like Hezbollah or even the Syrians from jumping into the fray,
I would
and
imagine.
or to deter Israel from going after them, the above aforementioned.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't even thought about that. I was gonna say, yeah, it makes sense. You maybe just send the the big stick over there to prevent other people from kind of seeing
Well, and
seeing.
air defense, contributing to
Sure.
air defense,
Oh, sure. Yeah. I
um,
mean, it's
of anything that might be flying towards Israel.
sure. Yeah. I mean, a single aircraft carrier has the the power projection of a nation. But that's interesting. Can you go into that a little more? And I'll keep an eye on the clock to prevent Israel from going after other nations or deter or
Well, the
maybe
one
convince
one
it's not
one of
necessary.
the one of the most important objectives right now, I think, on the part of most of us, the West and Israel involved, is to contain the fighting to
Stay calm.
Gaza, to contain it to between Israel and Hamas and Pidge.
Gotcha. Maybe I mean again as the because I guarantee you, and this is why I never even look at the live chat during any podcast. I guarantee you have people rapidly foaming at the mouth right now because we've said something that's offended someone, and I don't care. But so again, as a man wearing slippers in an apartment who has no military experience, I'm very aware that my wisdom is sought after. But yeah, I mean maybe by providing those to Israel, you would have less of a they might have less of an instinctual reaction to kind of dial it up to 12 against other nations and
Well,
contain it.
and
I
and
don't know.
and it goes both ways. It's meant to deter Hezbollah,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
of course, operates under the command and control of Iran, the IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and the Quds Force, and Syria. Now, a number of rockets and drones and I guess some paragliders have been launched in the direction of Israel over the past few days. But it is certainly not a full-on, all-out invasion. And there is speculation. Again, this is speculation because we're in the middle of, a series of events that we really do not know exactly how it's going to go. But the speculation, that Iran is willing to essentially sacrifice Hamas, which is going to be destroyed, uh, so long as they can help preserve intact Hezbollah's capabilities, including the 150,000 or whatever the number is of its missiles, many of which now fitted out with precision guidance packages, kits that have been sent from Iran on a regular basis through Damascus airport, which is why that place gets hit from Israel on a regular basis. But in any case, holding that capability back, as well as the manpower of Hezbollah itself, for what might be coming as Iran nears closer and closer to a deliverable deployed nuclear weapons capability, which is what I think, and maybe others agree, would be the final red line for Israel. And that would be the marrying up, right, of their warheads
Warheads
with
to
their
their missiles.
missiles, which makes a delivery system, and then they call it a weapon. But that red line perhaps is getting closer and closer for Iran and for Israel. And if and when that red line is crossed or near to being crossed, Israel will have to go and strike against Iran. And again, so back to the point, it may be that Iran intends to preserve Hezbollah's capabilities, manpower, as we said, and missiles and other armaments, weapons for such an eventuality.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of always been that's often been a discussed thing, but I mean, if this is not a reminder of just how stark that reality is, that's not some theoretical thing. It will be used against Israel. There's no I mean, they just came in
Well,
and,
it cannot
and
be allowed to. I mean, it's existential for Israel, enshrined in international law since the 1600s, is the concept of anticipatory
Mhm.
self-defense. You don't have to wait until Tel Aviv is a smoking pile of rubble.
Yeah.
It is absolutely lawful and permitted under international law that the aggressor, the intending aggressor, and certainly in a nuclear case, maybe hit first,
Yeah. Yeah.
just in anticipation.
Yeah, there's no value to standing high on your moral high horse and saying, I told you they were going to use the nuke. I told you. See that crater? I told What's the
No,
point?
they're not going to let that
No.
happen.
No. Yeah,
No.
no, they can't. And I think they've shown in the past that they won't. Um but yeah, and so for Egypt, because one thing I did see was Egypt kind of, I guess, lining their border with like APCs and tanks and soldiers. What is that for? Is that for to stop refugees? Is that to stop just
Well,
any escalation?
as we're learning, or at least I have been just today, Israel has been requesting the Egyptian government to allow at least certain points on its border with Gaza to be open for Gazans who may be heeding the warning from the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Israeli IDF to get out now. Certainly to get out of the most populated, congested centers, which would be, of course, Gaza City and Khan Yunis. But the request, as I understand, it's been made that Egypt would allow certain crossing points for people fleeing once that ground invasion of Gaza gets underway. Now, as I understand it, Egypt has agreed to open its Rafah crossing, but only in the direction of Gaza from Egypt to supply humanitarian needs. But so far as I understand it, there's no agreement about opening up any part of that border for fleeing Gazans who might be trying to get out of the way of the conflict to come once the IDF invades Gaza.
And is that a foregone thing that the IDF is gonna
Oh, yes.
go? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I figured as
they
much.
have
It's
to.
yeah, I mean yeah, and it's uh, there's nothing else you can do.
Not just have to, they have the right to. After what
Yeah.
was done to their people, the whole scale massacre of civilians, murder of men, women, children, babies burned in their cribs, babies decapitated, elderly seized and taken off as hostages. That outdoor music festival
Mm.
at the kibbutz near the Gaza border, where many young people were gathered,
260 were slaughtered.
slaughtered, that gathered for a music festival, slaughtered, just gunned down all over the field. It was an open air,
Yeah.
concert scene there. After all of that, and the fact that then Hamas has actually posted the videos
Yeah.
of some of these atrocities on social media, kind of as bragging rights, I guess they think this accrues to their prowess or
Well,
something.
that's the terrorist effect of fear.
They want people to see what they've done, but I think in a reverse kind of a way, the world, not just Israel, certainly Israel, but the world as well, the civilized world, that is, not the jihadis, but the civilized world, seeing these horrific images is united in its resolve, even more so than it might otherwise have been anyway, but resolved to support Israel. Now, unfortunately, the United Nations Security Council chose not to issue a statement in support of Israel. But like I said, the civilized world, the rest of the civilized world, and also because many of their own nationals have been killed or are hostages now of Hamas. But those images posted on social media have just, provoked revulsion and anger, rightful, righteous anger, that Hamas must be dealt with, must be obliterated.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I know it's such like a tired analogy or phrase, but you look at it and you go, you're gonna act like an animal, you're gonna be put down. I mean,
But
what
you
do
know
you
what?
is
Animals don't do this to their own.
that's a good
This is
point.
not about other animals. Only humans do this to their own.
Yeah,
Depraved
yeah.
humans who are, in fact, monsters. Animals don't do this to their own.
It's not even like the unfortunate collateral of World War II bombing, where it's, the method was shitty and sometimes you hit a town, sometimes you hit a factory. I
Well, I
mean,
mean,
this is recorded execution of civilians.
there's
There's
no, yeah,
no
that that is,
there's not
is,
even I'm just
there's
looking at
no
it from
reason.
like
There's no
you
excuse. There's no reason for that, and they have to be annihilated. There's just,
yeah.
no other way. Bibi Netanyahu, speaking, has referred now to Hamas as like it was called then ISIS, Islamic State in Iraq and Del Shem, the kind of horrific abuses that they perpetrated on innocent people. As I also just saw recently in a report today in the media, apparently, one of those black and white flags has been found on a dead Hamas jihadi. But I would take note that that flag is not the ISIS flag. That is the flag of jihad, because
Hmm.
what is written on it in Arabic is the Shahada. The Shahada is the pledge of allegiance to Islam. La ilaha illallah wa Muhammad Rasulullah. There is no God but Allah, it says, and continues, Muhammad is his prophet. And that's what's written on the flag. It doesn't say anything about Palestinians. It doesn't say anything about Hamas. It says, um, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet, is the quote on that black and white flag. In any case, um, Prime Minister Netanyahu making that connection that the atrocities of Hamas are reminiscent of what we saw with the Islamic State.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's really nothing to do but to vaporize them, and it's yeah. I mean, it's I don't think there's really anything. I think we're both in agreement. And I don't think there's man. It's how messed up is it? I think it was what BLM Chicago the
Right.
posted that.
I think not just Chicago, but other cities across the United States.
Yeah, it's like a picture. It's like a silhouette of like a paraglider, and it says like "We stand with
Yeah, I saw
Hamas,"
that,
and you're like
but there have also been these pro Hamas
protests.
protests or demonstrations across the country, in San Francisco, in somewhere in
Times
southern
Square.
Florida, New York.
Yeah,
Pardon?
in Times Square.
Times Square in New York.
Yeah,
And let me mention this while we're on the topic.
yeah.
Um, the leadership, as our folks may know, some of the very top leadership of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, Khaled Mashal, live in luxury in Doha, Qatar, in the Middle East.
No, of course.
They harbor and give them safe haven. Um, but it was Khaled Mashal who came out and made the announcement. I think it might have been actually yesterday, that tomorrow, that being Friday the 13th, um, he's calling for a day of the Al-Aqsa flood. Al-Aqsa flood was the name given to the Hamas terror attack. And Khaled Mashal, speaking from Doha, by the way, something needs to be done about those guys living in Doha, but that's for a future date, is calling for the entire world to rise up tomorrow, Friday the 13th, in support of Hamas, and join the battle on the world's streets, the streets of the world everywhere, to demonstrate support for Hamas, and also calling on other jihadist groups in the Middle East, close to Israel, for example, in Samaria, to rise up and pile on against Israel.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say about the one I saw was the BLM Chicago thing.
Hmm.
I mean, with a tweet, you can always at least go like somebody could take well, I'm banned from Twitter now, but like somebody could take my Twitter, right? And you could just log in and you could say something. There's always that at least somewhat deniability. Like, yeah, that guy
No.
doesn't. I'm just hear me out. That doesn't work with protests when you physically go somewhere and it's you that's not a hey man, why'd you tweet that? That makes us look bad. I'm not saying that's what happened. You know where I stand on that. What I'm saying is protest, man. You didn't accidentally show up. That's that's disgusting. That's
Well, and you know what's even more, I don't know, disheartening, discouraging, are the young people on certain elite top American university campuses, Harvard, George Washington University in Washington, D.C., um, out on the campus waving, these red, black, and green flags in support of Hamas. And I don't know if people saw the horrific video out of Sydney, Australia from a couple days ago, where mobs on the street near the iconic Sydney Opera House were chanting, "Gas the Jews,
I did
gas
hear
the
about that.
Jews." Unbelievably awful, unbelievably just
Demonic.
incomprehensible.
It's not it's demonic. It's there's no other there's that's all it is. It's we're seeing the true colors of people and it's you're seeing, it's they'll say they didn't do it, but they're cheering it on. When you're that
Yeah.
when you're that open to cheer that on,
But that young people are
it's
involved in this
it's
on our campuses,
yeah.
that
I
needs
mean,
fixing.
I guess on a positive note, well, one point I was gonna say, I like your sweatshirt, your hoodie,
Oh,
your hood
thank
that
you.
looks very cozy. But I was gonna say more so than normal. I've just kind of had over the last 2 days just a real appreciation for what the United States is in terms of just
Mm,
geographic distance, the right to own a weapon,
yeah,
the just things you don't really think about. I mean, just seeing, Russia going into Ukraine and then paragliders just going over a border and like we forget like yeah, it's not nothing that it's ocean, Arctic hellscape. That's amazing. That's amazing. It was just something that popped into my head more than normal. Like just how great this place is and how worth it is, how much it is worth fighting for all of its frustrating flaws it can have sometimes. It There's nothing like it, and there will never be anything like it again. It was just more so than normal. It just kind of hit me. I was like,
yeah,
it
agreed.
really is like
Yeah.
you can take advantage, you forget about it, but you're like, dude, this is not normal to be where we are and have this great of a place.
But think about where we came from too. I've said in past speaking events and so forth, we come from Athens, Rome, and Jerusalem.
Hmm.
Athens, the independent city state, Rome of the Republican period with branches of government, and citizen, at least some citizen participation, but Jerusalem more than anything, because our legal foundation, the basis of our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, our foundational documents come from Jerusalem, come from Judeo Christianity. And that is something that really is not only a treasure for us here in America, but to remind us that binds us to the Jewish people in Israel too,
Hmm.
and is another reason why it's imperative that we help the Israeli people to defend themselves once more against this savage Islamic jihad.
And that is all that it is. Is it's a savage, toxic Paris. That's what it is, man. If you can't play nice, like you're not allowed to hang out. I know that's an infantilizing analogy, but it's what it is. You can't negotiate with that. That's
No.
what you do when you see the when you see a wild animal and it's got all the signs of rabies, the cloudy eyes, the stare. There's nothing to do. You put it down. It's just
Yeah.
it is what it is. You
Have
can
to.
you can feel bad for it. You can hug it. You can think it's a Disney character. It'll bite you in the neck. It's just what it is. But I really do like that color on your sweat. That looks very
Oh,
cozy. I
thank you. Well,
like
you
it.
know
I
what it
like it.
is. We for the first time in a few days, we had a bright sunny day outside here, and it's a little bit warmer, up
Yeah.
into the 70s. So yeah,
Decide to wear a little bit of sunshine. Well, I love it.
we need that, a little bit of a pick me up. Yeah.
We do. I know you have to run, so I will let you go. We will be back to our regularly scheduled programming because I need your guidance. As we talked beforehand, this is why I have you on, is because at
Well,
least
I'm happy to come on, and it's not
yes,
just for
ma'am.
your guidance. It's great talking with you, and
Of
by
course.
extension with your whole audience.
Well, of
Thanks to
course.
them
I
for listening in too.
of course I wouldn't. You know me, I don't really sugarcoat anything. So if I didn't give a shit, I wouldn't profusely say, uh I'm so happy to have you back on, and I'm gonna fit you in.
Thank you.
It's you're part of a rare group of people that I actually. Most people I just all can't. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You're the only person that I'm like, Claire, I promise, I love you. I'm doing less episodes. I wouldn't care if I didn't love you. I wouldn't bother texting that. So
Thank you.
for whatever it's worth, that's my
It's worth a
hard
lot.
headed
I do appreciate that. Thank
that
you.
that is my hard-headed Irish emotion. Is if you get that, that's more than most people get. So you're up there with like my mom and maybe my dad.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
I'm
very
honored.
rare, very rare,
Honored indeed.
very
Thank you.
rare. But with that, Miss Lopez, thank you so much, guys. Please go into the description. Please go follow her on Twitter. I'm banned from Twitter. I don't think they're gonna let me back on. I made a joke about transsexuals and I questioned the state religion. So, screw me, but it is what it is. What do I care? A lot worse problems in the world right now. You can find her writings. You can find links to everything. It's all in there. Please go follow her. Please go give Claire some love. And until next time, thank you so much for your time, Ms. Lopez.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Guys, thank you so much. Stay safe out there.